miss this one. So I've been seeing a lot about smart cities, and I decided to do a little digging myself. According to the World Economic Forum's website, 36 cities over 22 countries are participating in these smart cities, but many more is to come. So what is a smart city? Smart city stands for Surveillance Monitoring Analysis Reporting Technology. Basically, a digital ID will be given to every resident that will track in real time all of their daily movements, their activities, their spending habits, even their carbon footprint. They will be given 15-minute travel times to complete their daily activities unless they have a permit. And if they exceed those 15 minutes, they can be denied access to their spending and their activities that they need to do for the day. So of course you're like, I'm not going to move to one of those cities, right? Well, here's the thing. Because of the laws governing the Agenda 2030 land development, the government can actually seize polluted lands and force their residents to move. So if the government deems the land and water around you polluted, they can force you to move from your homes to these cities. So all of these train derailments, food processing plant fires, and other ecological disasters that are happening, they're beginning to make a lot more sense now. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Push the masses into these apartment buildings. Why, you ask? Because they want to get to control people with everything. Once they have this 15-minute cities, they're going to be putting drones. It was listed drones on the Mississauga Smart City Master website, if you actually see it. And so they're going to have drones. They're going to have these blue light monitoring street lights that they're going to be setting up. They've already installed one in Mississauga, one in Hamilton. So again, I'm not talking about other countries here. I'm talking about in Canada, in Ontario. And once they set that up, what is going to happen is, with everything that's going to happen, people are going to fall and lose their homes and move into subsidized housing and move into apartment housings, and we're all going to be on guaranteed income. After they finish drying us with as much as they can from us, you're telling me that from the time that they implement electric cars to gas, for cooking and heating and everything in our homes, that we're still going to be able to afford it later down the line, with this 15-minute cities being implemented, with having limitations to get outside, with needing permits. There's going to be on and off peak fees. There's going to be odd and even license. There's going to be congestion fees. There's going to be traffic fees. There's going to be parking on and off street. It's just too many things.
The American dream is over. Get ready for the American nightmare. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. They're implementing the Agenda 2030 at lightning speed. Okay. The devil is coming down with great wrath as we speak. The banks are collapsing. They're ushering in the New World Order agenda. The central banks are taking over the banks' monetary system, and they're starting the Fed Now payment service, which will be integral part of the central bank digital currency system. They're going to require you to have a digital ID system, and this is going to correlate with their smart cities that they're going to implement. Hyperinflation is going to ensue, and they're going to take away pretty much everything from you. Okay, because you're not going to be able to afford anything, and therefore that's how they're going to be able to drive you into these smart cities. By destroying the rivers, the water. That's the reason why you're seeing the big chemical spills and chemical explosions all over this, America. It's all about the Agenda 2030 agenda and the New World Order. Okay. They have no intentions of allowing you to be able to be independent from their system. They're closing the banks, so you're going to have to rely on them eventually. Okay. You're going to have to rely on their system. Okay. And this is why they took over the housing. Okay. Because they know you will not eventually be able to afford the rent or the mortgages due to hyperinflation and job loss. All right. And they're positioned in the 15-minute cities. They're going to hoard you into apartments, or just like in China. That's their plan. That's the reason, again, why they're destroying the water supply. All right, over 440,000 gallons of radioactive chemicals have been spilled into the rivers. Okay, I've seen that. I'm not sure what. I think it's over there. I'm not going to state what that is because I'm not sure. But I seen a video caption on that. So this is where we're headed, and this is the reason why the Lord said that it was going to be a great a time like no other. The Lord Yahawashi said it was going to be a time like no other. Okay, and the devil was going to come down with great wrath. The devil being the so-called white man. Okay, all right. So we know that it's going to be civil war over this, famine, all right, and the sword, because they're going to bring forth troops and martial law and all that stuff, because people are not going to stand for it. So they're going to stand up for their rights, all right, and we can expect home invasions to ensue as well as people begin to not be able to get food or get resources. Second Esdras 15. Second Esdras 15 and verses let's see here. Verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into the city and not be able. Now we're beginning to understand why they're not going to be able to go into the city. They're not going to be able to go into the city because it's going to be required that you have this digital ID, all right, to move about, okay, and you're going to need permissions and permits in order to move about, because this is how it's set up in China. China is the originator, okay. They're the first ones to do this, okay. So a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's what's coming, because many people are not going to be able to no longer afford to pay for food. It's because of the hyperinflation that's going to be hitting, because if they raise the interest rate any higher, the system is going to collapse. And that's their whole intention, okay, so that they can be able to step in and have the solution. All right, so that's what this is all about. There's going to be commotions of the people and uproars of the people. We go to Luke 21. All right, and this is happening in the UK right now because they're trying to bring in smart cities over there. Uproars are happening, but this is what Yahawashi said would happen to let us know we were at the end. It's in Luke 21:9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Okay, then we go to 2nd Ezra 9:1. It tells you, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So the end is being manifest before our eyes, okay? So they're going to come down with great wrath, and it's going to go from the American dream to the American nightmare. With that, I say all praises to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakat, Gadash. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and shalom to the believers, and double honors to the elders at Great Millstone. Shalom.